Welcome back to an episode of Overtime. We just got done talking with Brian and Eric from the Hill Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. 3 IGs on the podcast, covered a bunch of different topics. Just wanted to take a little bit of time here with Marty afterwards to kind of recap it, point out some of the key things we talked about. So hopefully you can watch this and get a good recap of it, but we still highly encourage you to go watch the whole episode because there's a ton of good information in there. So Marty, I guess just what are your thoughts
that was
on
kind of rapid fire. Poor Dale, I'm not sure you were, like you said, you were in a room full of high IGs and not sure you got your...
It makes my job easy. I just throw a question out, then I can shut up for 20, 30 minutes.
Let it roll. But no, I think a couple things that just jumped out at me. One was, did you notice the power of threes when Brian talked about the Hill Institute? Their big 3 things were... right, to drive critical thinking and self-discovery. Number 2 was storytelling, and 3 was, really grit and hustle and working with students like that. I mean, to me, that's entrepreneurship. I mean, and again, he said the ultimate goal was to create the entrepreneurial mindset. And what I like about that is just because we say the word entrepreneur doesn't mean we're starting a business. That even in a company, we can be entrepreneurial. And my favorite program was Entree Leadership. To be a leader, you got to have some entrepreneurship. So I really like those pieces.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the episode, and I'll say it again here. It's crazy how the 3 pillars that they focus on, to me, matches up perfectly with the working genius. Critical thinking and self-discovery. To me, that's your WIDs. Your storytelling is your Gs, and your grit and your hustle are your ETs, and how their process kind of flows through the work process. Which you think about it, as an entrepreneur starting a company, you need to do all those things. So it makes sense. But it's really, that's the first thing when they said, I was like, wow, that matches up to working genius so perfectly.
Yeah, so it was funny. He made a comment where they get a box, and it's a box of random things, and then they got to go out and sell it. And I know both your and my mind is going, because we were going to say, my guess is we could predict who was going to succeed and not. Yep. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's instantly where I went if we would pre-test these folks, I could almost tell Brian and Eric, these 2 are going to be really good at the critical thinking piece. These 2 are probably going to be really good at the storytelling piece. Yeah. These people may not quite get the job, get it across the finish line.
Yeah, the IGs just sold the chicken and they had no problem telling the story. The critical thinker probably had a reason why.
Can you imagine the tenacity folks in that assignment, though, where literally they get no clarity, they have no deadlines, they have no processes, like they're just told, pick up this box and go sell it to a T. That's torture.
That would be absolutely. They'd be sitting there, but while the G's have run out the door selling. So no, I thought that was interesting, and our mindset goes back to that testing. The other thing that jumped out to me, and we got to figure out how to use this one, was when we asked Eric a question about what they do, and he said he has a concept called fresh eyes. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about it. It's exactly what by design. Like, why would somebody bring us in? Why would they want us to be part of their team? Is we bring a whole set of fresh eyes.
Yeah, and if you think about our last couple of engagements has been the request. They're successful companies, they're making money, they're doing pretty well, but they just said, hey, we want a fresh set of eyes. We want you guys to come in and tell us what you think. And to me, that really, it's an interesting tagline. And the way we come about it is we're going to look at your people and your processes and your profits with a fresh set of eyes, and we might see some stuff that you don't. I loved Eric's. I'm probably going to steal it. Is when you onboard somebody, tell them to write down all the stuff that doesn't make sense or seems wonky and don't tell me as you see them. Write them all down. In 30 days, we'll sit down and I give you permission to kind of tell us, what we do wonky or what you think we do that's weird or doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It was also great to hear them talk about telling the truth
versus cheerleading. I thought that whole conversation between cheerleading and telling the truth is fascinating. But you brought it up and he kind of talked about it, and then it's like, where on that spectrum do you fall?
I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges we have as leaders is in certain situations we need to be a cheerleader, in other situations we need to be the truth teller. And it's hard. It's hard to stand in the moment and tell somebody that the behaviors and the things they're doing is not working. But if we don't do it, we just keep creating problems.
Yeah, I played quarterback in junior high, and I still remember one of my coaches, he told me something along the lines of, as the quarterback, you need to figure out when you need to put your arm around your teammates and when you need to put a boot up their backside.
Yeah.
And to me, that's, again, where my mind kind of goes is cheerleading and telling the truth is that there's going to be times where you need to put your arm around your people and encourage them and help them. But there's also going to be times where you need to put a boot up their backside.
Which is what a coach does, right? When a coach really can't play, if a coach only told you what you're doing well and kept saying good job, and then finally cut you from the team because you say you can't use your left hand, you're like, well, why didn't you tell me that? So I thought that was interesting. And probably the last one, I think you picked up on it, was just unlock, the word unlock. I thought that was kind of interesting.
And that's what everyone's trying to do, right? You're trying to unlock profits. You're trying to unlock productivity. You're trying to unlock revenue. Everything you're doing in a business is you're trying to unlock a problem. They have a problem, a Rubik's Cube, and you're trying to help them solve it. So I do think, unlock is we always say words mean something and be intentional. It's why, again, our first session with every client is unlocking the genius within your team. We got to start there. We're not going to get profits and processes and value and all that stuff until we unlock the team.
Right.
And they're kind of doing that from the beginning. And that's probably why we work so well with them is we obviously have different terms. They use the triage framework. We have our working, missing, broken. They have fresh eyes. We kind of, have our assessments and
have
stuff.
The weight of value assessments.
But it's very similar of, hey, we're going to kind of figure out where you guys are, where you want to go, and then we're going to help you get there.
You're right. It was a great session and one of my favorites. And again, it was just a lot of excitement and, that was one I learned a lot.
Yep, very good. And like I said, makes the host job easy when you have 3 IGs and 3 100 Is. That's.
I'm a 99. I would like to say I'm not 100.
We're putting you at 100. I need 3 100 Is in there. So no, great session. Appreciate them again, and thanks for listening to this edition of Overtime.